The Reserve calls it transitory, but the international aid agency Oxfam and the UN Food and Agricultural Organization say, listen to me quoting the UN, global food prices for staples like corn will double in 20 years. So why exactly does the Fed think inflation is not a looming threat, Dan? Why does the Fed think it can ignore something like all these international organizations are predicting food prices will double in 20 years?
Well, I think the political wing is insulated from the effects of inflation insofar as people don't really feel it in their pocketbooks. When the prices of higher education and the prices of houses go up, people don't really recognize that it's systematic and economy-wide. Now, a later effect of these cycles is the fact that finally food prices are going up. But the other side of this coin is that they're also being driven up not just by inflationary tactics, but it's part of the real relative scarcity of food. I mean, all of these houses that we built that no one necessarily wants came at the expense of consumer goods that we don't necessarily have ready for consumption.
Why is it, EMAC, that the Fed is so out of touch that it insists that either food be not in its pricing structure when it decides whether or not inflation is happening, or it just refuses to recognize that food prices are going up? I mean, they go to the same supermarkets we do.
The Fed Chairman Ben Bernanke said he does think it's transitory. He does not think that, and I tend to agree, that monetary policy does not affect food prices. I have to say, you have to focus on it when you have 2 to 3 billion more consumers coming online into the middle class in China and India, and you have, gas prices going up. Yes, that's a function of the dollar and also oil and supply and demand. But food and gas made up 3/4 of the headline inflation number recently. That can't be ignored.
Carl, how can the Federal Reserve ignore food and gas? We all eat, and almost all of us, certainly you out in California, and a lot of people in flyover country, and most people on the East Coast, except in Manhattan, drive cars and pay for gas.
Well, we have everybody out here is eating these healthy granola nut salads, but the reality is Elizabeth makes an excellent point there, because it does tie into what I would suggest to you, that for centuries, really, for the last 200 years, certainly in the sense of the Industrial Revolution, the last 150 years, America has actually consumed far more in food than any other country of the world proportionate to its population.
Well, what does that have to do with ignoring the fact that
because the fact that we had the money to do it. So we had the money to do it no matter what the demand was, and it didn't affect food policy.
But what does it have to do with the Federal Reserve ignoring food and gas prices? Look, you can't eat a computer, you can't eat an iPhone, you can't eat an iPad. You have to eat food, and you can share your car with somebody when gas prices go up. You can't share your food.
Dan, we have about 30 seconds. I'll give you the last word, Dan. The Federal Reserve ignoring reality. Go ahead.
I think that these are more than just inflationary price increases, but they are the result of Fed policy. Every dollar that we spend increasing capital production by means of low interest rates is a dollar that we're not spending on consumable goods. It's Austrian theory, straight and forward.
And add to that quantitative easing, the Fed devaluing the price of money, food being purchased in dollars. Bingo.
No, food prices are not set by U.S. dollars. It has to do with weather events and other events overseas.
Gotta go. Thank you. Dan D'Amico, Carl Jeffers, EMAC, thank you for joining us. Save it till the next time. Back with the plain truth.
For 30 years, eFoods Global has been perfecting the process by which we make our food reserves. We start by using only the finest sun-ripened and fresh produce grown and harvested following the Good Agricultural Practices guidelines. Not only are our ingredients GAP certified, but we carefully test them for chemical and microbial contaminants like Salmonella and E. coli before the approved ingredients are blended into our exclusive recipes following strict quality control standards established and audited by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. These ingredients contain no trans fats, no hydrogenated oils, and no MSG. At eFoods Global, we do not freeze dry our food because the freeze drying process removes moisture and infuses chemicals into the food to prolong the shelf life. All of our ingredients are dehydrated only using low heat, and no chemical preservatives are ever added. Our dehydration process naturally preserves the food so that upwards of 92% of the nutritional value remains intact. These quality ingredients are then packaged in moisture-resistant, light-resistant, proprietary assurance packaging that is flushed with carbon dioxide to prevent oxidation and guarantee longer shelf life and quality before sealing the package. Finally, we date stamp the outside of the package the day we prepare the food reserves. so you know you're getting fresh food reserves. eFoods Global Reserves, when properly stored, maintain their flavor and quality for up to 25 years. Now, I know what you're thinking. These can't possibly be the reserves. But these delicious meals are exactly what you get when you prepare your eFoods Global meals. And none of these meals require more than a pot of boiling water, the contents of a package, and 10 to 20 minutes. Pretty soon, you are going to select some of these delicious meals to try for yourself for free. That's a great opportunity. Let's talk about some other opportunities eFoods Global has to offer you.